All of you, welcome. There is so much going on, and I want to give you as much information as possible. There's so many slides and videos I want to show you. We have to know where we're at right now to be able to start healing from this place. I'm not going to lie, it's not a pretty picture. I'm going to show you a video first to begin with. Can turn the lights back on, I really appreciate it. Face of that last girl always makes me teary in the eye. I worry about our children, I do. I think it's a really bad timing about what's going on. The statistics that you read, bullying-related suicide being the third cause of death, third leading cause of death among children, was taken about 4 years ago, that statistic. Right now, with all the school shootings and everything else that is happening, the amount of death among kids is just skyrocketed. It's horrible. We've had some in your town, in my town. Suicide is happening way more often, and all of us are just one step away from having some kind of a mental issue. Something could happen in life. We could become depressed. It's not just about people who have mental challenges. It's about all of us caring for one another at some point. I am going to go over all the do's and don'ts of bullying, what you can teach your children. I think I have it all covered, but then at the end, if you have any questions, please, I'm here to answer any questions you may have. So our mission is to build an interconnected, united world free of bullying, and our vision is to ensure that everyone is kind and respectful towards one another, and no one suffers from social isolation or bullying. Bullying is unwanted, aggressive behavior, and it's about power imbalance. It's a relationship problem, and it has to do with a behavior that is repeated or that has the potential to be repeated. So every time you see this person, let's say, that is bullying you, they come to you, you have this anxiety within you. It doesn't feel right. You're kind of on the edge. You know that they're going to chew you up or push you over or do something to you. And it's about power imbalance. There are 6 types of bullying. Physical bullying is if anyone, it hurts you or it hurts anything that belongs to you. So if I grab your purse and smash it down, that is also considered physical bullying. Then we have verbal bullying, which is any name calling, jokes, or any remarks, offensive remarks about somebody's race, gender, or anything else. Indirect bullying is gossips. You're talking behind their back, you're spreading rumors. Social alienation is the one that is happening, unfortunately, more often. And it's very hard to deal with that one because you can't blame one person for doing the bullying. It starts at playground when they say, you can't sit with us, you can't play with us, you're excluded from the group, you're not invited to the birthday parties. When kids are getting together, they leave you out. And more that is being seen in high schools and younger. Intimidation bullying, if you think that you're bigger and better and you say you do this or else, that's basically in the name. And cyberbullying, meaning bullying someone using any kind of social media or computers and posting information or pictures about them. So who's at risk? Anyone who's different. You could have, oh, this one went a little too fast. Learning disabilities, have attention deficit disorders, have autism, have special health care needs, are overweight or underweight. There's so many kids that are also too pretty, too intelligent, and kids are bullying them because they're jealous. You could be lesbian, gay, bisexual, or are questioning your sexuality, or speak a different language, or eat a different food, or wear something different. Anything that is different about you. If you are different from the crowd around you, you are a target of bullying. What can you do? So much. You could do so much, and that's the good news. If this works, let's see, there we go. So family factors are the ones that you want to pay attention to provide the secure and caring and self-confident, to make sure environment for the children, so the children are becoming more self-confident about their abilities. You don't want to be so much talking about what they can't do. Oh, you're bad at math, or you're not good at this, but you want to accentuate and talk about what they're good at. What are they good at? And every kid, just like every adult, has some weaknesses and some strengths. So you don't want to be constantly pushing them down, because they kind of think about it like, why am I here? What am I doing here? And if I'm not excited about anything, try to find out what makes them excited about life. What are their passions? And those are the things that you want to make sure they get all the training, get involved in it, and do more of it. Supportive parenting and modeling positive relationship. This is very important. I'm going to get into it a little bit later on as well. But what you put out is what your kids are going to do. If you say, I want you to be nice to your friends, it doesn't mean they're going to be nice to their friends. But if you are nice to your friends and they see that modeling, if they see a positive relationship between husband and wife, mom and dad, everybody around them is treating each other with respect, that's when you're going to make the big impact. And consistent and affectionate parent-child interactions. My son is a junior at high school now. And for teenagers, I don't know how many of you have teenagers? Wonderful. It's very hard to have a good quality time with them, right? I grab my tea and I go sit on his bed as he's playing Xbox, and I sip my tea. Might take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but he'll turn around and say, guess what happened at school? I go, hi, what? You just want to be there and provide the time with them for them to turn around and talk to you, so they know that you're always there and available. Every day, if you could have 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever you can do, you want to provide that time with them. School factors are close positive friendships and with peers. That is not possible for kids like my own child who lives with autism. He's worked all his life to have good friends, but he's socially awkward and he doesn't understand a lot of social cues. So if they are missing that, know about it, talk about it, and provide support. We'll talk more about that too. And making sure that they're engaged and responsive teachers and school staff. Thank God we're in Southern California. Our schools are amazing. The staff are incredible. And I'm sure you have a lot of support from them. And then we want the school to be nurturing and inclusive, which is what we do. When we go to a school, we provide that for the kids, how to be nurturing and how to be taking care of one another, be kind to one another, care about one another. Is your child bullying other people? Now, first, only like 30% of the kids who bully or get bullied or see bullying are gonna go to an adult and tell an adult. There's many factors why, but if you have a child who comes to you and says, I did bullying or I've been bullied, please take it as, this is incredible. Thank you for telling me. Make sure you praise them, because they usually don't. Only 30% do. So you have to look out for signs. If your kid is bullying, if you have a phone, I encourage you to take a picture of this, or actually at later time, this is gonna be on the website as well. So you could make notes of it later on. But if your kid, these are some of the signs that could be happening. They get into physical, verbal fights. They have friends who bully other people. They're increasingly aggressive. They get sent to principal's office in detention frequently. They have unexplained or extra belongings and money. They blame others for their problems. They don't accept responsibility for their action. They're competitive and worry about their reputation and popularity. Now, let's say if that last one, they're competitive. It doesn't mean every competitive kid is gonna be a bully. It doesn't mean that everyone who doesn't wanna accept responsibility is a bully. But if you see 2 or 3 of these signs in your child, you may wanna talk about some things. Now, there are times that the school or another parent may call you and say, your child did this. First of all, these are the steps that I want you to take, because this is how we're gonna be. This is a good wake-up call. That means your child needs help, which is okay. First thing, you see this, remain calm, at a lot of times. Remaining calm is very, very important, and it's actually something you're modeling for your child as well. When they are getting bullied, we want them to remain calm. If there's any kind of aggression coming to them in the school bus, first thing again, remain calm. If they are getting bullied, somebody's pulling their shirt as they're walking in the hallway, you remain calm. It's very important. So if somebody at school calls you and says, your child was in this incident, don't overreact, listen to the whole story, and make sure you assure them that you're gonna talk to your child. And listen to their story. When your child comes home, say, tell me what happened. And make sure you're respectful, you're calm, you're not overreacting, so they feel like they can come and tell you anything, basically. And don't interrupt, don't overreact. Even if their story is very bizarre, I have to say, I have heard all sorts of stories. Let them know that bullying behavior is not acceptable to you, and you don't put up with it. And whatever the school policy is, you're behind them because it's not good to bully. Make sure that they understand that. Even if you are a kind, loving parent, you are not gonna put up with bullying. Don't be too harsh. Now, there have been parents that have been too harsh, and I want to make sure that I say this. So if your child has been cyberbullying, for example, take the phone away, take the electronics away. You're not gonna have this for 2 weeks. You're not gonna have this for a week, for 3 days. If you can, please don't be harsh. I know some parents are into harsh, consequences. You guys all heard about this last week, yes? So this girl bullied someone on the school bus twice, and dad made her walk to school 5 miles away. And a lot of parents were really happy about this. Yeah, you go, Dad, that's what you do. When somebody bullies, you tell them, you know, they shouldn't feel like privileged that you give them a ride to bus, because she came home and told her dad, you're giving me a ride to school because I got kicked out of the bus. I can't take the bus. I got the detention letter. So, but dad says, I'm not taking you, you're walking. And it's a great example, actually. I like his philosophy. He's making the child walk. But however, even if you want to do that, don't put it on social media. In the beginning of that video, I showed you there was pictures of these vigils, that we have about 200 vigils of children who have died by suicide. And I have read every story about 20 times to make their vigils. I have one that as soon as I saw this, I was like, oh my God, I hope she doesn't commit suicide. This girl sent some semi-nude pictures to her boyfriend. Dad found out about it, sat her in front of the camera, and starts cutting her hair. Says, for your punishment, I'm gonna cut your hair. To a lot of people, even if you do this as a punishment, it's okay. But when you put it on social media, guess what? That girl's face was everywhere. Everybody in school saw that. So even if your child is making a mistake, you don't want to shame him. You don't want to shame him in front of everybody. That's bullying itself. So now we know where that kid learned about bullying, unfortunately. But what you model to your children, this is what happens. I just hope that nothing happens to this girl. Don't put it on social media. So what the other girl did, she drove off the bridge the day after and killed herself. We don't want that happening. So evaluate this situation. If your kid is doing bullying, you know your kid best. What is going on? What could be some of the reasons he could be bullying? Now, some of the common reasons are this. First, your child hasn't learned how to manage anger and frustrations. So there's an opportunity actually to teach something, or other strong emotions. Your child has learned aggression from home, maybe, or someone who bullies him. A lot of kids who bully, they learn it from parents, unfortunately. If it's not parents, it could be a sibling, it could be a cousin, it could be somebody, or a friend or a neighbor, but it's a learned behavior. Nobody is born grabbing the bottle from their mom and saying, change me while you're at it. Nobody's born a bully, it's a learned behavior. So we have to see where they learned it from. And please be willing to take a good look at yourself and if it's happening at the home. If you've spoken harshly with your spouse, take a look at that because the kids pick it up. Your child may need to learn cooperative ways to work through conflicts and differences. Now, a lot of the bullying is not just conflict or they could be differences, but it's a power imbalance, it's a relationship imbalance. But it doesn't hurt to teach them if it's because of a conflict, this is how you do it. This is how you deal with conflicts. Your child is feeling insecure and bullying makes them feel important. That's another one that is very common. Or your child is in the midst of a stressful life event. If there's a divorce, they moved away. I know a child that all of a sudden turned out, they just moved. Nothing else happened, they just moved. But his behavior totally changed. Totally changed from being the good kid who does all his homework and never bugs anybody to this other kid who's rebellious and is missing homework and doesn't want to finish work. So a lot of times you don't want to go with a finger like this. You want to just evaluate and see what's going on. Why? Why is this happening to them? I like this saying. I'm a Taoist myself, so I of course like Thich Nhat Hanh. But he says when another person makes you suffer, it is because he suffers deeply within himself and his suffering is spilling over. He does not need punishment, he needs help. This is stuck again, there we go. So this is your opportunity actually to teach the right behavior. And if you can't teach the right behavior or your child is not willing to talk to you, there's always counselors at school, there's counselors everywhere. We work with these two groups, Western Youth Services and Living Success Center. If you have Medi-Cal, Western Youth Services can use your Medi-Cal and provide counseling. And even if you don't have insurance, Living Success Center, there are many good therapists over there who can see your child for nothing, or $5 or $10 or whatever you can afford. Hoag Hospital, I know is close by, they have a program as well. So if you feel your child needs help, please get the help they need. And also you want to be the example. See how conflicts are dealt with at your home. Are you guys yelling at each other or are you being respectful? So it's good to be the example. Here's another saying I love. Live so that when your children think of fairness, caring, and integrity, they think of you. What you say matters. How you say matters as well, but what you say really matters. I play this video for the kids, but I always play it for the adults as well because it makes you look at your words differently and choose them differently. Dr. Emoto was a researcher. He passed away a couple of years ago. He took pictures of water molecules. Now he would put the water molecules on these little slips, and sometimes he would say a word on it, love, peace, integrity, whatever, or sometimes he would write it on a little piece of paper and just put it next to it. And then he would take pictures of it. And his research, I just made this video. this important? Because we are 60 to 70% water. Our bodies are water. And one thing I tell the kids is, if you say a bad word, first you have to think about it, right? So you've already, by thinking about a bad word, you've already changed your molecules to the green slimy stuff. And then when you say it to somebody else, you're inflicting that once on other people, but you're harming yourself twice because you thought about it and then you said it. Always you have to choose your words wisely. So is your child being bullied? Most of the parents that usually come to these seminars are because their child is getting bullied. There's a lot you can do there as well. The signs that your child is getting bullied are unexplained injuries. If you see them having a scratch or a bruise and they don't know what happened, oh, I don't know what happened. Oh, there's a hole on your shirt. How did that happen? I don't know, I don't remember. Lost or destroyed clothing, books, electronics, or jewelry. Frequent headaches or stomach aches, feeling sick or faking illness. Changing in eating habits, like suddenly skipping meals, and may come home from school hungry. That means somebody has taken their lunch. They have difficulty sleeping, frequent nightmares, declining grades, loss of interest in schoolwork, or not wanting to go to school. A lot of the vigils I have of kids committing suicide, the day that they committed suicide, they said, I don't want to go to school. And those parents that I reach out to, we have many events and I want the parents involved. And I say, we have a parade and we're walking with the vigils, we're honoring their lives. They want to come, but they feel so guilty. It's always that moment that the child came and said something. Mom, I don't want to go to school. Can I stay home, please? And a lot of times we think, oh, you know, they're just being lazy or something. But sometimes it could be a deeper reason. Listen to them. Listen to them if you can, and ask them why, and spend the time. Spend the time to find out what is it that is bugging them. Why don't they want to go to school? And if there is a legitimate reason, then you really want to look into it. Sudden loss of friends or avoidance of social situations. For my son, because he was bullied so much all his life, I take him to beach and we get out of the car and he looks around to see if any of the guys who bullied him are around. Any kind of social situation is bringing pain and anxiety to this boy. So look out for those as well. One of the signs. And self-destructive behavior, such as running away from home. Of course, these are in much more worse situations, harming themselves or talking about suicide. Always pay attention to all of those. So first of all, as I said, praise your child for coming to you. That's the number one thing you want to do, because it takes a lot of courage for your child to come to you and say, I was bullied. And make sure you offer comfort and support. Stay calm again. If you overreact, they're not going to feel safe enough to keep on talking. Stay calm, have them sit down, get a drink, glass of water. I am so sorry this happened to you. Tell me about what happened. Never blame your child. Now, for those of us that have children that may have difficulty, we know that a lot of the situations that happen, he may have done something, but it's the worst thing you could say. I did this mistake myself, but I corrected it soon after when I realized, what is it that I'm saying? Oh, what did you do this time? Until I read some vigils that parents have done that to their kids, and the kids felt blamed for it, that I said, I have to change that. From instead of, what did you do, ask, what happened? What happened? Tell me what happened. Document everything. Names, where it happened, what time it happened, who said what, and if anybody else was present that watched the whole thing happen. As your child is saying it, just calmly write it down. Or if you have your phone handy, just make a little note and start writing it down. You want to document everything. And then you're going to report it to school. Make sure that you make an appointment with principal or whoever is responsible at your school to deal with bullying, and make sure you tell them everything that is happening. Again, remain calm. Everyone wants the safety of your child. Nobody wants to blame your child. So just remain calm and inform the principal. And then you want to follow up. Follow up with your child, especially every single day. What happened? Did you see this person? Did they do something else? Are you okay? Are you feeling safe at school? And also checking back with teachers and school principals and making sure that somebody is, the school tells you who to go to. And they're designated for your child to go to if bullying continues on. You report it to this person immediately. Now, teach them how to rise up to bullying. Here's a couple of suggestions. These are the things that are suggested by stopbullying.gov. They do research every couple of months, and put them all up there. First thing you want to do when you're getting bullied is to, of course, stay calm and walk away. Now, the walking away works 80% of the time if you're calm. And if you're not getting a rise out of it, because the bully wants to get a rise out of you. If you're not paying any attention to that and just walking away, they're not going to probably pick on you again. Why? Because you're no fun. They'd rather go pick on somebody who gives them a reaction that they're looking for. So let's say that you walk away, you ignore the bully and walk away, but they still follow you. Hey, come here. You do want to practice this, role play with your child, in front of the mirror, say stop, knock it off, and mean it. Really make sure that they mean it. If they go, no, stop, that's not gonna do anything, right? We want them to mean it. We want them to, when they're facing someone, be able to speak up, and every day it's gonna get stronger. That little voice in the beginning may say stop, but you want to teach them how to look at people in the eye, because there's power in that. If you're looking down, you're feeling weak. If you can't look up and say, stop it, leave me alone, knock it off, whatever language that your child wants to use, but they have to really mean it. And then keep on walking away, and then you want to stay with friends, as many friends as possible. Now, for my child that has trouble making friends and has no friends, what he needs to do is to stay in a crowded place. Most kids think, oh, if I go hide in the bathroom, nobody's gonna find me. No bully is gonna find me. They find you. Nobody else can find you, but the bully can find you. So much has happened in the bathrooms. This 8-year-old kid last year was in the bathroom. Somebody pushed him. He slipped. His head hit the ground and he went unconscious. While he was unconscious, all the kids, there was like about 5, 6 kids, go and kick him. In the stomach, in the head, anywhere they can hit him. He's unconscious, he's on the floor. He wakes up, he feels sick. He throws up, he goes to the nurse's office. I don't know what's wrong with me, I throw up. Nurse checks everything, says, I'm not sure, but let me call your mom. Nurse calls mom, Mom, your son just threw up, I don't know why, you wanna come pick him up? She goes, sure. She goes and picks him up. He throws up again. Nobody knows why. There was cameras in the bathroom, but nobody thought about checking it right then and there. So the school even didn't know that this boy was kicked for a good 10 minutes. So he goes to hospital. The hospital gives him some medicine. The mom is like, I'm worried, I want to make sure I check everything. They check all these vital signs and they said, oh, he's okay. Let's just take this medicine for nausea. Send them home. Day after, he killed himself. 8-year-old boy. I don't want to scare you about these things. I just want you to know them and know the signs. If things are happening, just try to get to the bottom of it. Sit with them, talk with them, see why things are happening. And then also you want to have somebody at school that your kid can go to and talk to, a teacher, principal, school staff. Teach your kids that when you hear something that it does not belong to you, it's not you. Let it in one ear, out of the other ones. We give these pledge cards to kids, and actually you guys will have one too. For kids, it's cards. For parents, it's paper, because I want you to fold it and put it in your wallet at all times. Reason being is you never know when negative words are gonna come at you. Somebody's gonna come and put you down in your life, right? It happened to all of us. I want the kids to be ready for it. In the front, they pledge to be kind, be fair, be encouraging, be a good friend. In the back, I have them choose, it's white. I want you all to do that tonight. You write about 5 to 10 things about yourself to know to be true, and I want you to really brag about it. What are you good at? I'm talented, I can play tennis, I have a beautiful smile, I can cook well, I can dance well, whatever it is about you, I want you to put it here. Fold it, keep it in your wallet. If you hear a negative word coming at you, please take it out, read it. Don't let it take seed. I don't know about you guys, but I have friends in their 40s, their 50s, their 60s. Somebody in 3rd grade told them you're stupid or you're ugly. They still feel after 20 years of therapy that they're ugly or they're stupid. It's just so hard to get rid of that negative word. And when you hear it, you hang on to it. We think about it all the time. We need to learn to let it in one ear and out of the other and teach it to the kids at the same time. If any of these people listened to the labels they were given, they would never become who they are, right? Walt Disney, he was told he lacks imagination. Oprah Winfrey was told she's not fit for TV. Einstein, by his teachers, people that you think that you could rely on their opinion, said Einstein's teacher told his dad by the age he was 15, no matter what this boy does, he will never be successful. Really? Good thing they didn't listen, right? So I always have people choose their own labels. So the kids get to, usually the little kids get to cut this into little pieces and glue them in the back of their pledge card. And they can turn it into a little door hanger, bookmark, whatever, or put it on the fridge for everyone in the family to benefit from. But choose your own labels and make sure you go and revise every 3 months or so, especially with kids. They get to just learn more and more about themselves. So if your child is a bystander and you feel like, oh, thank God my child doesn't bully or do the bullying, she must be safe. No, they're not. Bystanders suffer from anxiety, they suffer from alcohol, drug abuse, especially if a school has suicide going on. If there's one person that killed themselves in your school, and all those bystanders who saw how upset this kid was throughout the school year, how he was alone all the time, how he didn't have a friend, and they could have gone to him and say, hey, what's up? What are you up to? Just sit and be their friend. They blame themselves. Why didn't I do something? So they end up having a lot of anxiety. And they are, I have to tell you, the hope we have for our school system. And 80% of the time, when they step in, within 10 seconds, bullying stops. We just want to make sure they know how to step in to stay safe. Whenever your child is seeing bullying happen, tell them to identify who is the victim, who's the one getting bullied. And even if they choose wrong and take the bully, they still are doing something positive. But what they want to do is you have to put your arms around them physically and say, come here with me. I have something to ask you. If just take the situation into something else, change the whole scenery, change their mind about all the aggression that was happening here, and maybe I want to attack this person or do something, take them physically away. If they are alone, that's what we want them to do. If they have their friends handy, we want them to rally up their friends. Come here, there's something going on here. And a whole bunch of them take the one who's the victim, and a couple of them maybe can go and take away and talk to the bully. What's going on? You could do better. We've seen, why are you doing this? I know you can do better. You're being mean right now. Now remember, with the bullies, we don't want to label them forever. Even bullies can change. You want to say you're being mean right now, meaning you can change later on. You wouldn't like it if somebody else did this to you. Let them think about it. Somebody else did that to them. That's how they learned it. So you can calm them down as well. And then you could always talk to a trusted adult. Hopefully the adults are handy. But you want the kids to know what's going on before you throw them in the jungle and say, by the way, here's a school, and there's gonna be bullying going on. You wanna tell them what's happening so they can defend themselves when the time is right. Now, if you're an upstander, which is what we want all the bystanders to be, to stand up to and rise up to bullying, these are the things you never do. You never encourage the bully to come and pick on someone else. You don't encourage others to join in and cheer the bully. You never want to stand aside and watch. Why? Most kids, most people think, if I'm just standing on the side and watching, what harm am I doing? I'm just watching. Yes, but you're providing the audience that the bully needs. Bully wants attention, and you're the audience. If you walk away, less chance. Even if you just walk away, don't step in or do anything. Walk away. Don't stand there and watch. Don't ever fight the bully. Say, hey, if you want to go through Susie, you got to go through me. No, that's dangerous. And record and share on social media. Never record and share on social media. There was this girl about 3 years ago in Ohio, 17 years old. We don't have any kids in here, do we? Oh, how old is he? 16, he can hear this. She was 17, she watched 2 boys rape her best friend. She just watched and live streamed it. She didn't ask for help, she didn't call anybody for help. At one point, she goes and she pulls the girl's feet as if she wants to get a better shot. But she was just live streaming the whole thing. She went to the judge. The judge asked, how could you not stop this? How could you not say anything? She said, I'm so sorry, Your Honor. I got caught up in how many likes I was getting. This is how lost our children have become, unfortunately. The world of social media has taken over. That's why there's people like us who need to go out there and say how to be decent human beings. How are you a good friend? A good friend doesn't stand there and live stream when your friend is being raped. One after another, 2 guys. She had many chances to just open the window and yell, help, somebody. She didn't. So yes, never record and share on social media. Why don't kids ask for help? These are some of the common reasons if you want to take a picture of this too. Bullying usually makes the kids feel helpless, and they don't want you to judge them for being weak. Thank you. Or they don't want to be called a tattletale. Kids may fear backlashes from the kids who bullied them. Oh, how could you tell on us? And it gets worse. The bullying becomes worse. Bullying is humiliating, and they don't want to be judged or punished by you. That's another reason for being weak. A lot of, unfortunately, dads, I'm so happy to see so many dads in here, by the way. Thank you for being here. They say, because it used to be, bullying wasn't as much as it is right now, and a lot of dads do tell their boys, oh, just kick him where it hurts, and they'll never come back at you. The thing is, what if you're teaching your kid to fight back physically? If somebody pushes them and you say, oh, just push them back. If they hit you, oh, just hit them back until you see blood. I heard one parent say that. What if that child, you push them really hard when you're angry, right? You're angry, you have the superpower. You push them, they fall, they hit their head on the curb, and they die. What's gonna happen to your child? I asked that from elementary school, 4th and 5th graders. They all said, juvie. That's right, juvie. Juvenile jail is where they end up going. That's not what you want for your child. Violence is never the answer, definitely. And also, kids who are bullied may already feel socially isolated, so they may feel like nobody cares. Nobody cares about me. Why should I tell anyone? And they also feel like being rejected by their friends and their peers. Now, this is very common because their friends are going to say, oh, you told on so-and-so? That means if we ever do anything wrong, you're going to go tell your mom. And they push you away too. They don't want to be your friend. So another thing I want you all to pay attention to, I don't know which schools you're from, and the school policies are different. As a parent, I know you want the kids to come and apologize to your kid. If somebody bullied, please come and apologize to my kid. And some schools may actually take the initiative and make this happen. I want you all to know this is not right, and why is it not right, and why it doesn't work. Group treatment do not work. First of all, the group becomes the audience for the student that bully, and the bully gets to brag about their experience. And this went a little too fast. Number 2, other group members can serve as negative role models, and the bullying gets to continue further from that point. Simple short-term solutions, which is apology. Go apologize to my child. Come and say you're sorry. They don't work. Why? Because bullying is a long-term relationship problem. It's not a conflict between two equal partners. Husband and wife, equal partners. You could have conflicts. This is not a conflict. This is somebody who is overpowering another child. There's power imbalance. It's not a conflict. Conflict resolution and peer mediation don't work and send the wrong message, actually, that bullying is a form of peer abuse, and it's not a conflict, as I talked about, between peers with equal powers. And then you further as if you're victimizing the one who was getting bullied, because the bullies now leave the office and torture that kid in the playground. Much worse. It gets about 10 times worse when they have this experience. Again, this went too fast. Sessions and meetings become opportunities for the bullying behavior to be repeated. It never gets better. Kids need to be talked to separately. A lot of schools also say zero tolerance. It's good that we have zero tolerance for bullying, yes, but it's not going to solve the problem of bullying. The reason why is that this strategy fails to recognize that bullying behavior is not a permanent characteristic. A lot of the bullies can learn from positive social interactions at school. We don't want to label someone that you're a bully and there's no hope for you. And bullying can be changed and replaced by positive behaviors. 20% of the kids bully. So is it really fair or is it possible to expel 20% of the kids if you have zero tolerance for bullying? Excuse me. And the ones who bully can definitely benefit from positive social interactions. I've been against expelling kids for a long time. And this August, my son got jumped by 3 boys. It was robbery and assault. I made the police report. I made sure that police came and took a report. We knew one of the boys, the other 2 we didn't know. The police went to the boy. The boy gave the name of the other 2 boys who were involved and said, I didn't have much to do with it, it was these 2 guys. Still, because we knew this boy, police came back to me and said, do you want to press charges? I said, I want to talk to their parents. So preaching about this is easier than when you have to do it, but I did it. I talked to his mother. His mother was crying, apologizing, saying, I went to school many times, I don't know what's happening to my kid, he's hanging around the wrong people, he's doing drugs, he's vaping, he's this, that, he's dropped all his AP classes, I'm worried about him. Did you go to school? Yes. What did you say? And she said, they said there's nothing we could do. I said, what about Western Youth Services? She said, who? So I said, give me a little bit of time. I want your kid to succeed. This is who I am. This is what I do. Can I have a conversation with your child? She goes, absolutely, but I'm telling you, you're not going to get through him. He's got chains all over him. He doesn't even look like somebody I know. He's very rude. He never listens to anything we say anymore. Me and his father have no control over this child. I said, I still want to talk to him. Police said, do you want a restraining order? I said, maybe, let me talk to school. I went to school. Our school has a sheriff. I talked to the sheriff. I said, if I could get a restraining order, can you make sure that this kid doesn't get close to my child? He goes, there's no way. We can't enforce a restraining order at school. They could be in the bathroom at the same time. They could be in a class next to one another. And they've already broken the rules. So I said, what about Western Youth Services? And he said, who? I said, maybe I'll talk to the school principal. And the assistant principal was walking, and I said, can you come in here 1 second? And I said, what about school, Western Youth Services? Do you work with them? He says, who? Maybe our counselor knows about it. We go to the counselor's office. I saw a pamphlet on the wall, and I said, Western Youth Services. She said, yeah, but we don't work with them. I said, why not? She goes, we just don't. I said, okay, so if anybody has a problem, what do? She says, they come talk to me. And she was having a hard time even looking at me. She was constantly rolling her eyes like, you're wasting my time, lady. Are we done now? And she walked away and was like, okay, bye. Nice talking to you. I would not talk to you if you were the last counselor on earth. But these are the places that our children are sometimes. This is a wonderful school. I haven't removed my son from this school. No, this is a great school, but sometimes people don't know. People don't know that these services are available. If a kid is doing the bullying, Western Youth Services can come to your school, and if the parents say yes, they could come to your home. They evaluate your kid. They provide counseling, anything that your kid needs. It's there, help is there. But I had to go through 6 different people. And if I didn't have a personal relationship with Western Youth Services, I don't think this kid would get the treatment that he's getting right now. Tell the story short, I met with him and his parents, and I told them that I could send you to jail. If I press charges, you're gonna go to jail for 1 year, and you have to do community service for $1,000. And I said, this is not something, it's not gonna be the worst of it though, because you come out of jail, your chances of getting into a good college, forget it. Your chances of getting a good job, good luck getting a job with McDonald's. Nobody's gonna hire you. There's Google nowadays. And if they see something on your record, they're not gonna want you at their school. They're not gonna give you scholarship, come study with us. Nobody wants to hire you. And I said, once you get out of school, this is it. You have to do a minimum wage job, and be happy with that. But I said, I know that your mom says you had AP classes, you were a good kid. And I looked him in the eye very close, and I said, I care about you. And his eyes got this big, like, you care about me. I said, I don't want this happen to you. I'll give you one chance. You're gonna sign up with Western Youth Services. You're gonna stick with it until they release you. Fair enough? He said, that's fair. And his mom and dad jaw just dropped. We can't believe he said, okay. There is help, we can get help, and we all need to be the example. It was very difficult, I have to say, for a mother. The mother bear comes out and says, how dare you, you hurt my child. But I had to really stretch myself to get to that point, and I encourage all of you to do that. Because these kids, when they are expelled out of the school, the other boy, one of the other boys that is expelled from school, that's what we found out, the one who robbed my son is expelled. He has 7 convictions already, a 17-year-old. Now imagine that boy is being bullied by somebody in the house. Let's say his dad is bullying them. We expel him out of school. We say, you're not our problem, go. Guess what happens to him? Now he's being tortured every day by a parent. Things go downhill. This is how they come back with a gun years later and do mass shootings. It's huge to have 65 shootings in only as of October, which is 39 weeks into the year. That's 2 shootings every 3 weeks. That's too much, too much. Anyway, moving along. So what works? What works is all of us working together. The schools, children, parents, every one of us have to work together to make sure we provide a safe environment for the kids and for cyber safety and physical environment for all of us. Safe and caring. I'm gonna go back to here again. This is one case that was documented in the Texas shooting this year. The shooter was documented, did not hurt the kids that were nice to him. I wonder if that has happened before. Being in the position that I am, with all the kindness stuff that Sarah so wonderfully introduced me, it's not just to gather all these names for myself, it's actually to learn and see what works. And you know what works? Kindness works. Kindness works for everyone involved. You as a parent, school, the bully, the bullied, the bystanders. And we don't have to agree on anything to be kind to one another, right? If I see you bleeding, I'm not gonna say, excuse me, who did you vote for this last election before I call 911? That's not what I'm gonna do. We're human beings. We need to care for one another. No matter what our differences are, we need to be kind. Now, kindness, one of the reasons I became a racktivist and is Random Acts of Kindness has done so much research. I don't want to reinvent the wheel, but we know that kindness is teachable. We could teach it at an early age. And we know that it's contagious. If I am being kind to you, you're more likely to be kind to somebody else. Another thing, kindness decreases pain, stress, anxiety, depression, blood pressure. And it increases the love hormone, the energy level, your happiness, your lifespan. Pleasure, your serotonin levels go higher, you sleep better, you look more beautiful. There's just so much. And if you see the kindness happening, not only you're more likely to go do it for other people, the one who is getting the kindness, all of this is gonna happen to them. All the good benefits of kindness happens to all of us. The one who's doing the act of kindness, the one who's receiving it, and all the bystanders who are watching it. There's so much you could do to be kind. Open the door for someone, send somebody a flower, write a little note. There's just so many ways that if all of our attention goes on kindness, we have less time to pick on one another. And that's one of the things we do at schools. After we have our presentations, we have about 20 activities that they could do every month. And we started that at Sage High School. They have a Kind and Safe School Club. And at the end of the year, hopefully we will have a king and queen of kindness. If all of the kids' attention is how can we make our school kinder? And if, let's say, there's a simple tag your it card, you have to do an act of kindness and you go tag somebody else. And let's say I'm tagging someone who's a bully. He gets the card, tag it. I have to do an act of kindness for somebody? Forget this. They throw it in the trash. But you know what? You planted the seed. You planted the seed. For a moment, they thought about, what can I do to be kind to somebody else? That's good. That's positive. Now, this kid in high school, she, you could turn off the lights if you're close by. She did just one experiment. She told people, I'm taking picture of people and things I find beautiful. And you see their faces change. Faces, the smiles don't lie. This stuff works. This stuff really works. And I want you to try it in your family. Do something for someone nice and let the children see it. Or do something for the children. Or get the children involved to do something for somebody, a senior or I don't know, just what are some of the kindest stuff that you could do at home? Have them come up with their ideas. What is it going to be kind, like to cook dinner together, or if I take the dog out for a walk, or if I make some cookies and give it to the neighbors. Let them come up with their own ways and think about how can I be kind to someone else. This is an app by SAMHSA. It's a government app, and it helps you talk to your kids about bullying. It has some ideas. There's always ideas on our website, kindandsafeschools.org. And on our Instagram and Facebook pages, we constantly post stuff that has to do with kindness and what we can all do to be much stronger and kinder to one another. I like this. It basically explains everything. You can't be the mom that cusses if somebody stops you in the middle of the traffic and they say, bye, honey, have a good day. Be nice to the other kids. You don't want to be the mom that is on the phone going off about how come Julie got that person. She knew I wanted that person. I can't believe it, and she can't even afford it. Gossip, gossip, gossip. Be selfish, and then expect your kids to be different, to be nice and kind. That doesn't usually work out. I learned with my son, living with autism, there's no way I can tell him what to do because he won't understand it. I just have to be the example. I have to be the example. But I think it's true with everybody. If you are the example, it affects people around you. They see it in your face. The only way to be a friend, to have a friend, is to be one. So be a friend. Be a friend. Be a friend. Animals do it so much easier than we do. Be a friend. Alone we can do so little, together we can so much. Helen Keller said that. Together, which we do have to get together, we can do so much. As you see those sugar cubes once in a while walking across the living room and thinking, how is that sugar cube walking? And you see thousands of ants get together and lift it up. There's strength in numbers. We have only one world, and the more united we are, the stronger we'll be. Choose wisely and be a friend. Now, one thing I didn't talk about, and I think, Sarah, correct me if I'm right, there was bullying at school, at the school bus? Was this happening in this district? It has happened before. That's one thing that I didn't specifically talk about. School bus bullying is so common, and there's not that much that can be done. I mean, we're told we can't text and drive, and then we want the bus driver to stop whatever situation is happening in the back and drive safely. It just doesn't work out that way. Now, some districts are asking the school to come up with a supervision. So one adult that knows about how to stop conflicts and fights between the kids needs to be present, somebody else who's not doing the driving. If your kid is experiencing bullying at the bus, there's a couple of things you could do still. First of all, talk to the bus driver. If you change schools and you had this happen at a previous school district, you want to tell the bus driver, you know, he used to get picked on. Is there a possibility you can keep an eye on him? And the bus driver will tell you what's the best place to sit so she or he can see the kid, your child, from her mirror. But not all the places in the bus are going to be visible. And hopefully your bus system has this going on with the district, that if something happens, they have to write a slip and give it to the principal, so then you could talk more further with the child. But unfortunately, the first thing that we say to kids, walk away, it can't happen in the school bus. They're stuck. They can't walk away, they're in a bad situation. So the reason school bus bullying is common is that there's just very little everyone can do. The only things that a couple of districts have come up with, one is supervise, one is to have some kind of a radio, kid-friendly radio, that with positive messages going in the bus so the kids' attention are on positive things than negative things. And hopefully we're also trying to come up with our little kindness bus to make buses more kind inside and more inviting for the kids, and coming up with maybe sing-alongs or something that the video can be played. And also the other thing that works is usually a camera. So the school bus drivers need to tell the kids that everything is being recorded, and if you do something wrong, this is gonna go to the office and your parents. Questions? Yes?